Hi everyone, my name is Adele Arini and welcome to my channel. If you're new to this channel, thank you so much for tuning in and welcome. If you are a subscriber, thank you so much and welcome back. In today's video, we will be exploring the different stages or phases of our spiritual awakening, specifically related to love. Alright, I think this video is going to be just slightly longer than last week's video. And so without further ado, let's get started. All right, dear friends, before we get started, I'd like to reiterate that the stages of spiritual awakening described in this video will be specifically related to love. Love is all there is. It is the foundation, the underlying cosmic law of all creation. And everything that exists in the physical universe follows this law. And to go against the law of love by our thought, word, or deed is to plant the seeds for an energetic rebalancing process to then occur in the future. In the true reality that is constant and eternal, there are no divisions, labels, categories, stages, or phases, or even definitions for love. Love is all around us in its infinite number of forms and frequencies or vibrations. Alright, let's now take a look at the first image that I've been guided to create, titled The 5 Stages of Awakening Related to Love. Embodied souls who are planning to ascend in this lifetime usually choose to remain within the first stage of spiritual awakening for years or decades. There are, of course, exceptions to this, as everything will depend on the higher plan belonging to each ascending soul. From the day we were born on earth until the time when we have successfully completed most or all our shadow work, our lives will be all about aligning ourselves, aligning every aspect of our lives with our divine presence. And by so doing, we will be naturally aligning ourselves completely with the energy of divine love. The sacred goal that we all share as an ascending individual is to consistently walk around the earth as the full embodiment or emanation of Source love, God's love, or divine love, 24/7, wherever we are, and no matter what is happening around us. Nothing is ever a coincidence. Everything that had occurred and everyone who had entered or left or stayed in our lives were all part of this grand plan. They were all helping us to become more of who we truly are, divine love personified within the human body. Pre-birth, we had designed our spiritual awakening journey ourselves. Everything that is in the energetic blueprint of our life had been so intricately designed to perfection to overlap or interweave with all involved, thus supporting one another in our ascension journey. People were or are in our lives because of that grand design. They came into our lives and form energetic ties, also known as soul contracts or karmic ties, that bonded us together, enabling us to experience life situations, events, or conditions that, in the long run, will help us to grow, expand, or rise in vibrations. And once we have become more aware of who we truly are, more aware of what we are here to do or to be when within this first stage, then the process of clearing, purging, healing, or transmuting all our vibrations, also known as shadow work, within our consciousness will begin. Shadow work is all about liberating ourselves forever from existing limitations or restrictions in our lives that were, one way or another, caused by the existence of those lower vibrations within us. And so, the first stage of our spiritual awakening is all about demonstrating an unending commitment and perseverance to love and to our journey of fully embodying that love. Although this journey back to divine love may sometimes feel never-ending, rest assured that there will come a time when always choosing love, always being the love that we are within, will feel so natural and effortless. By that time, love will have become the path, the way, the ruler of our lives, the underlying reason for everything. Alright, let's now go into the second stage, timeless love. For people here who have been following my work on Facebook or Instagram for a while, you might perhaps remember a channeling that I posted back in May last year about time, coming from Mahavatar Babaji. Let me just refresh your memory about what he has said in that channeling. A big part of your ascension journey involves releasing all attachments to time. Time is nothing but a strong illusion that oftentimes binds, restricts, or limits individuals who believe in its existence. And when one is ascending, one will naturally embrace the eternal nature of the divine presence within, the presence that is never constrained by time. Mahavatar Babaji's statements about time are, of course, applicable to love as well. It is time for humanity to learn, to deeply understand, to raise the conscious level of their perception and understanding that true love or divine love or unconditional love can never be constrained by the illusory concept of time. When love ends, for example, in a relationship or a friendship between two or more individuals, what has actually ended is the potential for a deeper experience of that love. The love that was originally present had not actually flown away or disappeared. It's just been deeply buried under the heavy weight of all energetically discordant emotions that we had had towards the person, thing, experience, or condition that we had claimed to no longer love, to dislike, or to hate. And all we need to do, if we want to rediscover that love again, is to simply clear all those discordant emotions, thus making way for a new beginning or a new chapter to unfold within that relationship or story. And so, in other words, the second stage of spiritual awakening is all about not allowing the illusions of time to affect or diminish the love that you have for an important cause or for someone or something. We show our commitment to love by constantly acting as our own inner bridge between the past, the present, and future. A bridge that can be built over any existing gap between the love that we'd had for someone or something in the past and the love that we have right now or in the future for that same person, cause, or thing. We can build this inner bridge by using the higher energies of gratitude, forgiveness, compassion, and understanding. As energy beings, we are never static. With time, we all grow and change. Our truths, perception, knowledge, or understanding, our goals, dreams, or desires, our priorities can all change, expand, or evolve over time. For example, if around 6 months ago someone had asked me to help rescue a cat from the shelter, my answer back then would probably be, sorry, thanks, but no thanks. Although I love all animals in general, I prefer dogs as my furry companions. And that changed when Timmy, the cat, came into my life. The point of that story is what was true and important to us a week, a month, a year, or 10 or 20 years ago may no longer be our truth now. It may no longer be important for the person that we are today or the person that we will one day become. After all, change is the only constant in life. The energies of gratitude, compassion, forgiveness, and understanding will be the powerful glue that can reignite the divine love spark within our own consciousness, relating to that person, place, thing, or connection. And of course, this process of forgiveness, the letting go of the past, and our return journey back to love can only occur if one has a strong intention to embody divine love all the more fully. Please note, we are not actually suggesting that a divorced couple should get back together again, or that people should remain entangled within a toxic friendship or an abusive relationship if their goal is to embody divine love. That's not what we meant at all. This is about us choosing to do the inner work, to heal and transmute all discordant or negative vibrations within ourselves about anyone or anything, so that the vibrations of our consciousness can rise even higher. Whether or not a reconciliation should occur in your physical reality will of course be entirely up to you and the relevant parties. Alright, let's now go into the third stage of spiritual awakening, called the Christ love. The word Christ means the anointed one in Greek. This word is actually a title. Please bear in mind that it is not a word that's exclusive only to Christianity. It's a title that is used to describe any man or woman who has successfully raised the vibrations of their overall consciousness to match the vibrations of Christ's consciousness. Jesus, the Christ, was one such man who had successfully elevated his overall vibrations to this Christ love phase in his own life journey. There were, of course, other human beings throughout Earth's long history who had also reached this same phase. All spiritual avatars, masters, or saints, for example, the Buddha, Saint Germain, or Mahavatar Babaji, were all enlightened beings who had successfully liberated themselves, liberated their lives from the endless cycle of karma and suffering. They walk around the earth as role models for the living Christ. And so, what exactly is Christ consciousness? It is a state of consciousness in which a person has experienced full and complete self-realization and unity with the divine. Christ consciousness is attainable by all human beings. It's available to all seekers of higher truth, to individuals who are devoted to love, to those who would spare no effort in reaching this enlightened state of being. Our journey to embodying Christ consciousness is all about breaking through all restrictions or limitations that are usually found within the human consciousness, thus liberating ourselves forever from all that is foreign to the divinity that's always been within us. It's also about transcending the physical existence and fully experiencing our divinity and God-like nature whilst we're still wearing this flesh, blood, and bone gown that is the human body. Alright, let's now move on to the fourth stage of spiritual awakening, called the love of the great I Am presence. The main difference between someone who has successfully become a living Christ and another person who not only had become the Christ but also the full embodiment of the great I Am presence has to do with the level or the phase of one's understanding and one's mastery of source energy related to the multidimensional nature of the great I Am. There are many levels, stages, or phases of mastery, dear ones, as evolution never stops. For example, a person can be an expert at driving a car after driving on the roads for more than 10 years. However, his current expertise doesn't automatically qualify him to become a race car driver, one who's an expert in driving at high speeds. If you are curious to know or understand more, simply ask your higher self or spirit team to connect you in meditation. Firstly, to a Christed light being, and then secondly, to another light being who had reached the love phase of the great I Am presence. This will help you to deeply understand the energetic differences between the two light beings after you have experienced both energies in person. Experience is, after all, the best teacher. Let's now move on to the next stage of our spiritual awakening called cosmic love. When one has reached this phase of love on his journey back to Source, his light body has the potential to support the spiritual evolution of a far greater number of souls on a cosmic level. He or she will often work or collaborate directly with members of the spiritual hierarchy, for example, the Great White Brotherhood, to fully realize the plans that the Divine had envisioned for the human collective. One perfect example of such a cosmic being is our own Earth Mother, Lady Gaia. Please note, there are other words, labels, or terms that may be used to describe the stage or the phase of one's spiritual awakening. The following stages of love, the unconditional, the timeless, and the Christ love, can perhaps be labeled as 5D, fifth dimensional, to 12D, 12th dimensional levels of consciousness. And the love phase of the Great I Am presence may be described as 6D to 12D levels of consciousness, whilst cosmic love may be described as the 8D to 12D levels of consciousness for educational purposes only. What's really important is not the labels or names that people had used to describe the state of love that is attainable in one's spiritual journey. The main goal for today's video is simply to inspire, to expand your conscious awareness or understanding, and to plant the seeds of what is truly possible, what is truly achievable in your journey back to divine love, back to pure source consciousness. All it takes for you to go to the stage, the phase, or level of consciousness that you desire is your decision and unshakable commitment. And both will be the topics for next week's video. Alright everyone, it's now time to wrap things up. Sorry about the quality of my voice in some parts of the video. I'm in the middle of recovering from a cough and sore throat. Please don't forget to press like and subscribe to this channel if you have found the information here to be helpful in your journey back to divine love. I am sending you all my love and gratitude. Namaste.